Hello, everyone. My name is Andreas Bichler from Schoolsensations, and today we talk with our partner for high school programs from Ireland. We thank the director, Mr. David Ferguson from Babel Academy of English, that he will be with us and answer our questions. Hello, David, and thank you very much for your time.
Hi, Andreas. No problem at all. It's wonderful to be here.
The first question is about the current pandemic in Dublin or in Ireland. How big was the impact to your business, and did you have bookings in the last year?
The impact on the business in general was big, particularly for the shorter course programs, for mini-state programs, for summer school like this, everything like that. I mean, you're talking about 90%, I suppose, completely, closed, abandoned for the year, basically. For the high school program, funnily enough, it was not a problem. In fact, we grew this year over the last 12 months over the last season, starting in September and January. We actually increased our number of students. So to answer your questions, yes, we did have bookings. I think there were two main reasons for this. Number one, we definitely received some applications for candidates who had been planning to go to the US. And then obviously with the visa complications during COVID and the situation in the US, that wasn't possible. So we received a few extra candidates for that reason. And then, of course, with no short course options, I think some people decided, okay, we can go for a longer course option this year.
A very important question is about the safety and support. What can the students expect when they arrive?
Yeah, Andreas, I think you're exactly right. I think this is the most important element, really, of everything. I mean, the program is a great program, and it's a great experience for the students to travel to a new country, and it's a coming of age program. I would always say about this, going away for a year, away from your family for the first time. But safety is paramount, and feeling secure, feeling looked after, feeling supported is of the utmost importance. I think the first thing is getting to know our team personally, getting to know the host family that the student is going to stay with personally. So there's a lot of preparation in advance. There's a lot of connection with the candidate in terms of putting the family in contact with the candidate directly. And then in terms of support and safety, for the high school program arrivals, I do the airport arrivals, along with my colleague Maria, who also works on the high school program with me. And I think it's really important for me to tell the agent, to tell the parents, to tell everyone involved that, you'll see me. and here's my phone, and I'm on the end of the phone. And I think that kind of personal contact and reassurance maybe is the most important thing, along with 24-hour contact, full support if there's any issues, any concerns, any illness, anything, to be there to support in all areas. Go to school the first day, to make sure that everything's okay, even if just to introduce and be there and know that they will know the face. To go to the parent-teacher meetings, we do that as well. So we sit down at the parent-teacher meetings with their teachers, and we give full reports back through our agent partners. And yeah, that level of support, particularly over the first week before they start school, I think is one of the most important things.
When is the best age for students to start a high school program, and why?
So as I mentioned already, it's a big step. It's a big program. It's a big experience for these teenagers, young adults. So our candidates would normally be between 14 and 17. Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of years that are particularly popular in Ireland, in the Irish school system. Our second year, our fourth year, which is what we call transition year, and then our fifth year, which is the second last school year, the penultimate year in Irish school. These would be our most popular years. So we have a lot of candidates who are 14, 15, who go maybe to second year. And then we have a lot of candidates that when you get to 15, 16, 17, go into transition year or fifth year.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, students live in families, in host families, in Irish host families, actually. How do you select them? How do you select your families?
Yeah, the families, Andreas, I can't emphasize enough. I would say the families is always what we say in relation to the high school program. We're very lucky. We have a large bank of families. We normally run, it's been curtailed, but we normally run short stay programs throughout the year. I mean, really from February, March, all the way up to October, November, with a slight off season in December, maybe January. So we have a lot of host families on our books to begin with. We would have 600 to 700 host families on our books. And then we select families that are both suitable and interested in becoming high school program families. And there is a big difference, as perhaps you can imagine, obviously, between having a student that stays with them for 1 week or a student that's staying for a full year. And really, Andreas, what we're looking for is families who are ready to have a new member of the family. Mm-hmm. And it's like that. It becomes like that. I mean, I've brought students back to the airport at the end of the year, where the host sisters, the new host sisters or host brothers are in tears watching them go. I remember in particular one girl, a younger child, she was only 4 or 5, and I mean, she could not be consoled. She was so upset that they, but you know, 8, 9 months in the same family. Over the last year, the students did not go home for Christmas because of the travel situation with COVID. So you really are talking about people who become part of the family, who join in every celebration, every day out, every occasion, that they are fully part of the family. So you're looking for host families that understand that have the right profile for that, the right commitment for that, and look forward to that. And that's something that they want to do.
And are there usually students at the same age in the families or children, or is it different, or depends?
It depends, Andreas. Sometimes there are, as I alluded to earlier, sometimes there's younger kids. Sometimes we place 2 high school program students from the same age in the same family, if that's required. You know, if the agent or the parents want that, it's an option.
Usually 1 in a family. 1 student per family.
We can do 2, Andreas, from 2 different countries.
Okay.
Which has worked well.
Mm-hmm.
We have at the moment, we've got 1 student from Italy and 1 student from Spain, one example of this, who are living together. And the girl from Italy was supposed to go home at Christmas, but she didn't. She extended, and I think the reason was she had become so friendly with the other girl. But to go back to your questions, yes, sometimes we have the same school age going to the same school. Sometimes kids are younger, and that works nicely too. So, you know, a mixture of everything.
What does a typical day in an Irish host family and school look like?
Okay, so different timetable from Spain, that's for sure. of this I know. So we have probably a similar start time, around 8:30, 8:40, 9 o'clock perhaps. This is the range of times that the school day begins. School day ends around 4 o'clock. Okay, and there's for lunch is in school. So I know that's probably a lot of people, I believe, in Spain often go home maybe earlier in the day. In Irish schools, this is rare. usually you stay at school. There's a canteen in school with hot food, which is an option, but most of our students take a packed lunch from home, which is the Irish way, really. So school continues until 4 o'clock. Again, another big difference, it's all based around food. Another big difference between Spain and Ireland, perhaps, is our dinner, particularly families have dinner quite early, maybe 6 in the evening to 7 in the evening.
Yeah.
So the timetable, you don't have an awful lot of time between you finish school and you have your dinner. What students do, it's as varied as what students do in any part of the world. Some students like to be involved in some of the co-curricular activities in the school. So they might be playing football or basketball, or they might be involved in music or drama. And sometimes that's immediately, directly after school. There's school clubs in different areas of interest. And then, so dinner is 6 to 7. And then after that, again, it depends what the family are doing. It depends what the students are doing. It depends if they're meeting their friends or if they're involved in something. But you would be expected to be at home every evening between 6 and 7 or 6 and 8 for dinner. That's generally how Irish life is.
How do students get from home to school usually?
Yeah, well, we try to place students as close to the school as possible. So quite often they are walking. They're within a 10-15 minute walk to the school. There may be a 10-minute bus journey for some students, depending on getting the right family and getting the right school. So there may be a short, but we're always in the same area. So it's never, maybe 10 minutes by bus or train, or sometimes within walking distance.
Okay, and usually it's a safe area, or like.
Always, 100%. Yeah, Dublin, I mean, I guess Dublin, Andreas, but for people who don't know Dublin is a very safe city. Ireland in general, it's an international city. It's a capital city with a big, with a reasonably big population. But our schools are, usually a little bit out from the city centre, so maybe 15 minutes by the city centre. This is where the good families are. We use schools and families usually close to the sea. So yeah, nice residential areas with lots of families and schools.
How do you select the right school for each student? Are there usually many students from the same country in the same class at school, for example, or?
No, we don't. So we would make sure that there aren't multiple people from the same country in the same class. So that comes into the reckoning when you're making those decisions. There's a number of things. There's the right school connected to the right family. There's mixing the nationalities, like you said. There's not putting too many with the one school. We have plenty of options so that we can make sure that there's a lot of variety and a lot of options for people. There are slight differences in the schools. So, I mean, we might get a request for somebody to study. They were studying German at home, and they want to continue studying German. Some Irish schools will offer this, and others won't. Mm-hmm. There are some of our schools that are more technical than others, which is probably maybe a little bit different from the school system in Spain. I know we had an Italian boy last year who ended up studying woodwork and metalwork and engineering, and he loved it. He really, really loved it. But this was all new. This wasn't available back home. Yeah. But in general, let me speak a little bit about the Irish school system. In general, we don't specify that much at school. I mean, you have some students who are more interested in technical subjects, or more interested in science subjects, or more, more interested in business maybe. But generally speaking, you can keep it quite general. You can choose one language, one science, one technical, one, which is what somebody like me did at school, where I didn't know what I wanted to do. So it suited me to be able to do this, plan for university, but not, not make any big decisions in your life. So that's how the system is in Ireland. Mm-hmm. So in terms of schools, most people, unless they have a particular subject, like I said, that's only available in some of the schools, most applicants, could work in most schools.
Final question. What is the application process for a high school program in Ireland, and when is a good time to apply?
Okay. As I said earlier, the preparation is really, really crucial in this. The way to get a very successful program is to have lots of preparation. The application form is part of this. The application form, of course, is quite detailed. Compared to something like a short course program, there's information about your school, there's information about your contact details and your parents, there's information about health and allergies and all of those kind of things. And then the other side of it is getting an impression of the person. Mm-hmm. So getting pictures. The student must write a letter to their host family. Mm-hmm. And the host family will write back. And then the pictures start to be sent. So that during this process, on the day that we collect the student from the airport and take them to the host family, introduce them, there is a history and a background that really works very well in terms of giving the students confidence, but also, when they arrive on day one, you're starting, the relationship is further down the line already. And they know what to expect, and they know who they're going to meet, and they have a good impression of this. So yes, the process of applying, you will send us the application form and we will take it from there. We'll engage with our partners. The partners in their own country is really, really important as well. It's this program, because it's a big commitment, it's communication, okay? Mm. So communication between, us and yourself, our partner, which I have utmost confidence in, and then your relationship with the parents, and then our communication with the student. And this is all very important in the preparation as well. Yeah, I think that answers the question. I did want to mention one other thing, Andreas, going back to, I answered your question about the timetable of the day. At the weekends, of course, there's lots of other things to do. And again, it depends on the student and what the family are doing. But I did want to mention that students can also join our social program. We have trips most weekends, so candidates, high school program students often join our trip, maybe once a month or this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. That's really good. Yeah, thank you for the interview, David. It was a pleasure to talk to you. So I'm glad that we can send you the clients, or we can send you probably soon, hopefully probably soon, clients. And yeah, we wish you the best from Schoolsensations and talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Andreas. It was lovely to talk to you. And listen, anytime, we're always available.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.